now and again you run across, someone would say there's a store of good fruit up there. If you can get into it, use your bayonets and make a hole in the top, and we've got some of that. Sometimes that happened. You couldn't choose your diet whatsoever. But cigarettes, of course, the chaps were so used to smoking, and the old issue used to come out in normal times when things were good. And I've forgotten the name of the tobacco now, but it came in tins. We got very excited. We saw this little store of them, and opened it up and found, for the first time in our life, rotten tobacco. The chaps used to get a bit of bark from the trees and bend them down. They seemed to have just the habit, you know, that was there. That's one of the things that happened.
Can I just
you were talking about?
Yeah, the trip to Crete, and you know what you're expecting, and
well, we got a surprise actually. All the stuff was loaded. That seems rather ridiculous. The stage, the structure for the stage, the curtain uprights to hold the curtains and all the rest of it, all that was stored and put on the railway from Mahdi right through to, that's the camp of course, right through Cairo, right through to Alexandria, left on the station, and then army trucks picked up and took the stuff down to the boat, and the band, all the band stuff and so forth, down to New Zealand. And on the way, of course, I don't know enough about ships to say how big it was. I can't remember that. But going over, they had what they called a Chicago piano. It was like Chicago, no, something organ they called it. Anyway, they set it and it swiveled around for shooting and so forth. It would swivel just like any other gun. And there was some attacks on the way over, aeroplanes. They had, and one plane was brought down on the way over because the crew, they attended to that kind of thing. We wouldn't be allowed to touch anything there. But I think it was somewhere on the island itself that brought the plane down there. We landed at the wharf, and of course it was equipped just like the passenger, the vehicular ferries. They have the big opening of the door going down for cars and things to go out. So that was done with army trucks came, picked up the stuff. We went, Freiburg was not there, but he had sent for us, and he went down to the ship. He was late, true to his word. He really tried to get there, and apologised afterwards for not being down to meet us. Then, oh, that's the trip over. The trip back, oh, I told you about that, yes. That was the trip over.
So talk about where you went and...
well, from there to the wharf, from the wharf to Career, I don't know how many miles yet exactly, from Suda Bay, that's Suda Bay I should have said, Suda Bay Wharf. We went to Carnier, about 2 miles out from Carnier, I think it would be. Of course, green fields and all that kind of thing, it all looked very, very attractive to us. And no rain at the time. And we had a sort of a ditch there where we could take shelter. We stayed out in the open. I think we just camped in our clothes and so forth there. and they arranged to draw rations from the 20th Battalion. That was arranged beforehand, and the chap who was going to become the comedian, Harry Turner, a returned serviceman from the First World War, he became the cook all of a sudden. Later on he became a prisoner of war, of course. But we settled down there, and each day, for the 3 days or whatever it was, 4 days, we went in to set up the stage and all the rest of it at that Olympia Theatre. We'd march all the way there and leave all things there because it would be impossible to carry them away. And then walk back after the practice. Same with, of course there was strapping going on at that stage. It wasn't the invasion as came later, nothing like that. But I think describing the invasion later, there's plenty of stories written about it with better writers and speakers than I am. But I've never forgotten the learning for the first time, seeing a German plane so close that instead of seeing the swastika, ignorant me, I saw the Iron Cross. And of course the cross in most countries and most dictionaries determines the cross as some replica of the crucifixion. Now, anyhow, I was surprised at that, especially when the plane came at you and it had this cross on it, and you'd be in the olives, of course, the trees, that's where it's at. Well, you'd be in shelter of the bough of the tree in front of you when the plane came, then you'd shoot, slide around the back. But the trouble is they had a rear gunner, one going up the front, one going up there, and they were very low. I couldn't believe the planes could go so low. And it was like really like a circus show. The planes seemed to know they were the key of the skies. They just went round and came down, and they came down in formation that seemed to be perfect. I never saw one run into each other or anything like that ever happen. But of course before that there was the, and after that there was the invasions with the parachutists coming down.